I didn't do M&Ms, but one time I did Sour Patch. What I
Ooh.
did was I took the powder from the
No,
Sour Patch
no,
Kids and I
please.
snorted it, and it was
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
horrible.
Well, that's not as bad as I
And
thought that story was gonna go.
So, also kids, if you're thinking of doing that at home, don't. It doesn't feel good. And
Stick with Smarties powder.
you're
Oh
stick
my
with
God.
Smarties. Michael
light
said
stuff.
that, not me. Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Train. My name's Jonathan Ibanez.
I'm Michael Palmer.
I'm Inaki Rashid.
I'm Elizabeth Priest, the producer.
And we're leaving the station.
Chugga choo choo.
Choo-choo!
How's everyone surviving these days?
I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
I'm gonna cry too because Elizabeth is sad.
So maybe start crying. I can start crying. Are you ready? Bye.
can you guys cry on command? I've tried to learn how to cry on command, but it doesn't work.
I can do like single tear.
You just think of really sad things, like people
that doesn't do it for me.
dying.
I just stare into lights.
I've heard people like thinking about in the arms of an angel.
Angels.
Oh, Nagi, that's a pretty good cry you got started there. Look at that.
Wait, who?
Nagi, she's got a tear. Look.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you dripped it. That's absolutely.
Oh, you dripped it, you cheater!
I mean, the fact that she got away without any of us seeing it.
That was pretty good.
I was so obvious with it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't see the water glass because your background. It
that's
makes it
true.
invisible. So you were just.
Ooh.
Today we are reviewing 9 to 5.
20th Century Fox presents a tribute to anyone who has ever been overworked, underpaid, and pushed to the edge by an ungrateful boss. Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton. 9 to 5.
1980 movie starring Dolly Parton, Jane Fonda, and
Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin.
Who is amazing, and the fact that I forgot her name, I'm actually very sad. Elizabeth picked this one out, so I think she should do the honors. Wants to tell us a little bit about it.
Directed by Colin Higgins, produced by Bruce Gilbert, and is written by Colin Higgins and Patricia Resnick. It was released December 19th, 1980. Classic movie, I feel like, just in my own mind. And the budget was only $10 million, and it made $103.3 million.
So similar to
was
Airport.
A hit.
Like pretty similar budget, pretty similar return.
Yeah, Airport was about the same.
It was 10 and like 102.
The 20th highest grossing comedy film of all time.
Really?
There's my fact for you.
There's the first fact from the Fat Queen.
Inaki, oh my god. Oh, this is so cute. I'm sorry. Like, do you like my 2 little bullet points?
Oh yeah.
No, okay. I was like,
I thought you were
no
talking.
idea what you were talking about.
I thought you were talking about her bangs that she.
Yeah,
cut.
that's what I thought.
No, I already saw
like,
that.
she
That was
wants to
already
cut those
Instagram.
off.
It was like so like last week.
Anyway.
All right, so 9 to 5 starts out, and we basically meet.
No,
Jane Fonda.
Okay. It's the song. It's the classic song that we all have to like insert song right here because classic song. The only reason why I truly chose this movie because I love Dolly Parton.
And we don't know the lyrics either. And also, if we use the song, we're gonna get copyright hit so fast.
So sad. Insert my version of the song, which I shall pre-record and send.
That also, unless we get the
copyright
lyrics, is completely copyright.
It's fine. I'll change it.
I really like when people are just post songs on YouTube and then they write no copyright infringement intended. Where it's like,
it's
okay, that's like
the whole
shooting
movie.
someone. Like if I shot someone in the head and said no murder intended, like that doesn't fly.
Get off on manslaughter. That's the rules. That's the law.
So what's the copyright version of manslaughter?
Copyright. I don't think there's a lower degree of copyright.
Oh wait, can I just mention, right? This is for all those girls out there who are struggling with their eyebrows. I decided to thread my eyebrows, and like I kind of took off the end of my one eyebrow for all those girls out there who are struggling.
There is.
Or just get bangs so they cover them up.
Yeah, so get
viewers.
bangs. Don't thread your own eyebrows.
Just to
Really
be
good.
Well, Elizabeth, had you threaded your eyebrows before?
No,
This is your first time. That's impressive. I wouldn't trust
You do it
myself to thread
yourself?
my own eyebrows.
took off my eyebrow. I
You
have
did
to
it
draw them
yourself?
in
Well,
now.
anyways, going back to 9 to 5.
yeah.
Yeah,
Intro to 9 to
because this
5.
episode's even more deranged than usual.
That's the way I like it.
I'm excited for Jonathan.
And
to
it
cut
never
this
gets
into
oh, hey now.
I'm excited for Jonathan to actually cut this into something that makes sense because
Yeah.
I'm always impressed
far
by
has
his editing
managed to.
skills. Good job,
Yeah,
that's
Jonathan.
I don't
Shout
listen
out.
to any of them.
Shout out to me. Oh, that's so nice.
Elizabeth
Thank you,
is
guys.
gonna
I
end up
appreciate
kicked out of this podcast. She
What
doesn't.
kind of producer?
She doesn't actually show up to meetings. She doesn't listen to
it.
her.
Hey, don't bag on Elizabeth. Come on.
Guess what though? I
now.
liked the Facebook page after I created it like 3 weeks ago.
Like,
Hey, and she keeps the Instagram up to date.
Does she? I don't even have Instagram.
I think she does. She posted about the broadcast today.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Those
it.
interested, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook because we are starting to record these episodes live on Twitch. So if you
1
want to
week
be
before
here
they
with
premiere.
us to see them unedited, to see them raw, you can follow us on Twitch and we will
And it
have
is-
the information on
And also
It's-
subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can get monetization.
Which all proceeds will go towards getting Anaki a better microphone.
Hey, it sounds pretty good today.
Wait, how is my microphone?
How does your micro sound?
Yeah.
Your micro's fine. Your macro is a little weird.
Oh boy.
All right.
I need you just to
Jonathan's
tell
made
me.
worse jokes.
That was terrible joke.
That's a low bar now.
I
hope
know,
you
but that's
understand.
Hey,
bar
let's
we're
get to
at
the
these days.
movie, guys.
Okay,
All
ready?
right.
Okay, so it opens. My favorite song. Yep, that's it. That's all I got.
And
Did you actually
basically-
watch this, or did you just listen to the song?
Did you watch this movie, Elizabeth? Priest?
Elizabeth, did you watch this movie?
I watched half of it and then I fell asleep.
Oh my
Elizabeth.
gosh. Have you seen the last half?
Yeah.
So you've
Which
seen
half?
it before.
So you saw the?
Like I
Wait,
saw
so-
like okay, so I saw the first hour of it and then I was like 40 minutes short, but I saw the last 15 minutes the first time I watched it like a year ago.
Oh my
So I'm
god.
missing like
So
20 minutes.
basically,
Okay,
the
so you're
meat of-
missing.
the meat of the movie, the part where like everything really happens. You have
Yes, 'cause-
no idea.
Everything in this
Wikipedia it.
movie. Everything in
Oh,
this
tell me,
movie
Matthew
happens
told
in
me.
the 4th, 6th, and in the 5th, 6th. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's
And I-
honestly the first hour of this movie doesn't really matter, and the last 20 minutes of this movie kind of matter. The like section in between is literally where the whole movie.
It gets so crazy out of nowhere.
And then it becomes like
I'm
normal
sorry,
again.
someone
The
was-
first
someone else
hour is
was
all
watching it.
stereotypes and cliches. Like it's
I
not that
tried to
interesting.
watch it this morning.
I
know
watched
what
it at 2
happened.
times speed.
I know what happened.
Yeah,
Anaki
okay, so
watched it at 2 times
Anaki
speed.
almost didn't finish this movie.
Nope.
Yeah, and watch it at 2 times speed just
Yeah.
because.
I know what
Had
happened.
to
Can I
watch
just
it
state
then.
I know what
I would
happened.
like everybody to know that during my review of Airport, I watched the last half of Airport at times 2. So that might have affected my rating.
I will say, I think watching the first half of Airport at times 2 would be fine. The second half of Airport times 2 is, I feel like, the part you don't watch.
Guys, I already
But-
know my rating, okay?
Well, don't talk about it now.
So it's
because
fine
we're
because I
about-
know what happens in the movie. I can tell you what happens in the movie. Let me just pull up the Wikipedia summary.
You've
Oh
started
my
telling us what
God.
happens in the movie twice already.
Okay,
And it's
ready?
just the song.
Here we go. Here we go. Ready?
If you
If you say
one
the
more
song
time,
one more time,
then Jonathan kick you out. After the song, what happens?
Okay, so after the song, can I just state during the song,
Oh my gosh!
it was like a really great opening scene. Though.
You muted yourself.
No, Jonathan muted me.
Jonathan
Oh, muted God.
her.
Okay, but can I just state how
No,
good
you
it
can't.
was of the intro though? It was really great. 'cause,
We
like, all of us were
understand that you
walking.
like 9 to 5.
Okay, anyway, we open up and this chick.
We all agree. We all agree.
No, I'm
the
moving
song.
on. I'm moving on. So there's this chick named Judy. No, is it
It was
Judy?
Jane
She's
Fonda.
reading. I would like to be clear. She is very obviously reading the Wikipedia summary.
No,
right
I'm
now.
reading my notes. I'm trying to figure out who's who again. Okay, so Judy comes in, right? She's new to the office, and we meet Violet, who is supposed to be the woman in charge of like a section of the office, right?
Yeah, she's at a
Yeah,
party.
it's very nebulous what actual, because she does have a title, but it's one of those situations like The Office where everyone is like a regional something or a management head or division junior, and it's just a lot of like babble. You never actually find out what this company does.
No.
This company is called Consolidated Corporation,
It's
which
literally it's very
Yeah, oh, yeah.
reminiscent of IT Crowd, where they just very intentionally never reveal anything about what they actually do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They just sort of play around with it. And
well,
I
and
like
Anyway.
this place is called Consolidated. So like 100% it's a front for some mafia, right? And given the chairman, like you meet the chairman of the board by the end of the movie, and 100% he's the head of some like international crime syndicate.
Mhm.
he's like Colonel Sanders if he was a mud boss.
He's like a plantation owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes in with the white suit and the white hat and the cane and the southern
the
talk
beard.
and all that. Yeah.
He's Pierce's father from Community.
Yeah.
Okay. No, my
Wait,
That
God.
you
is
meet
such a
Pierce's
good-
father in Community?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't
And
finished
then he
it.
dies like
Immediately. Not even Pierce. Pierce dies incredibly too. Well, this is not that show. Anyway.
This is not the Community review. That could be a premium episode.
Oh my gosh.
I love Community. I would
I
love
Wait,
to-
so
I've
have
also
we
watched
actually
Community.
really started this episode yet?
No.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
because I've started it.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
Yeah,
keep
it's just
going.
like you started the movie.
Mhm.
So
And I'm
we
gonna finish
meet.
this podcast though.
So we meet Violet, who's sort of like the head of one section, and then we meet a guy named Frank, who is the head of the floor. He's in charge of the whole floor. So Violet works under Frank.
Yeah. I have an
And
important
But
note.
she's been there longer. She trained him.
No. She went up with him. She trained the guy that gets her promotion, but she worked together with him right when he came.
She's worked there for 12 years.
Yeah, he's
12
not older than
years.
her. She's older than the guy that got her next job. I have a very important note. The first note that I made was he's the worst.
Yeah.
That is all.
Well, he's just like the epitome of everything bad in this world. He's just so bad.
Oh
It's
yeah,
incre-
he's not likable. He's sexist. He isn't even competent at his job. For one, like if you're gonna be an asshole, at least be an asshole that's good at doing your thing. You know.
Mhm.
He plays a lot of these type of characters. He played the director of the soap opera in that movie Tootsie.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the director in that movie.
I didn't know that.
He's just this. He always plays these characters that are. There's nothing good about them.
There's no redeeming qualities.
And I
He's-
really don't. I think it was my biggest problem with the movie. Honestly, was that he was so one-dimensional, and I understand that that's kind of the point.
Mhm.
But it was frustrating for me, honestly.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
He's
he wasn't
Okay.
given anywhere to go.
Anyway, so Violet takes Judy to go meet him. He wants Violet to go buy him a scarf
For his
for his
wife.
wife. That we soon learn in like 5 minutes that it's actually for Dora Lee, Dolly Parton's character. Dolly
That's
Parton,
not gonna translate to audio.
Yeah, Elizabeth dancing
Dolly.
wildly. Every time in the rest of this episode, when Dolly Parton's name is mentioned, Elizabeth can just be pictured dancing wildly. That is all.
I love Dolly Parton. I don't think you guys understand.
The wig throws me off a lot.
Okay, anyway,
Wig,
so
Is it a wig?
it absolutely has to be, right?
wait,
She's
move
like
your head
30.
a Naki. Let me see her.
The hair in this movie is fantastic.
I don't
That's
think it's a
Her
wig.
hair is way bigger early on. She's got gray hair, and it's like twice the size the first time we see her.
Maybe.
Nuh-uh.
Maybe.
Yeah, right?
She
Anyway.
is not wearing a wig.
That's
She's
not a
not.
wig.
My mom said it was a wig, too.
She might have been actually. She has really big hair
she's
though.
wearing a wig.
She's just always had really big hair, and I love that. I love Dolly.
I love her hair.
All right.
I love her.
I just
like
love
her
Dolly.
attitude.
Okay, Michael, take it
So
away.
Dora Lee is the secretary of Frank.
Mhm.
And the thing is that he is sexually harassing her. He's making all kinds of advances towards her. He tells her to turn around, to spin around, which is it was a little creepy watching this part.
A little. It was.
It's very
It
cool.
It was
very
disgusting.
creepy.
He spilled pencils just to look down.
Yeah.
Also, but you know how often that happens? A lot. And you know what?
We're not
also,
saying it doesn't.
And then he also threatened Violet's pay as well.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda's character is the most incompetent worker in terms of what when they actually show her working. She's garbage.
Yeah, well, because she's never worked before.
She's never worked with her. She was a wife.
Okay, there's
and then
this
her husband
incredible
cheated on
scene
her.
there's an incredible scene with an
Xerox machine.
that I feel like the prop guys had a blast making this thing. It goes haywire in literally every possible way to the point of where it's like a machine inside of it just shooting papers at her face.
And it gets very
When
slapstick.
they show the like control board, I don't know.
It looks like something out of MST3K, like this thing is made out of cardboard and whatnot.
Yeah.
You just press buttons and it makes
There's literally like a go faster button there.
yeah. It's like, why don't you hit stop? And then he presses the same button that she pressed, and when she like exploded.
Yeah, it felt like a little vaudeville routine or something.
Yeah.
But she literally she doesn't know how to do anything because she's never been trained to do any of this.
Right. I know, but all I'm saying is it's not like she's a great worker. So the idea is that the disparity in pay, while it's evil, I will not argue that she should be getting paid more for now. Because there is a training period in most jobs where you are paid less until you have been trained.
Yeah, I don't understand why they
Fair
never
enough.
trained her. I'm so confused on how she got that job.
Because then other things happen in this movie, and the training sort of takes a back seat when Lily Tomlin, who, by the way, it's crazy to remember that she's the voice of May Parker in Spider-Man in Spider-Verse movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's May Parker.
I didn't
And
know
also the fabulous.
I did not know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so she's May Parker, and in addition, if you guys don't know, she's famous originally for Laugh-In, which is this incredible variety show from I think the 50s, mostly a little bit of 60s, or maybe no, it was 60s.
So her career spans
decades. Yeah. She's still alive. She's still incredible. She's hosted. She's been some of the hosts for award shows like the Tonys. Absolutely, this incredible woman, one of the best female entertainers I think ever.
She does a great job in this movie.
Yeah, she's fantastic in this movie. She's got a very long history of being this just awesome feminist badass, and I think this is sort of like the coalescence of it. But I highly recommend you guys check out the One Ringy Dingy sketches from Laugh-In if you ever have a moment. And I guess same with our viewers. Please check those out if you don't know them because they're terrific. It's from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. So yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to Lily Tomlin because she is incredible, and I feel like a lot of people in our generation don't really know her, and she's still just kicking around. I think wasn't she in Grace and Frankie too, which I have not seen, but I've heard a lot of good things about. So yeah,
I have not seen that either, so I can't answer to that.
fair enough.
But here's the thing: is that in the office, everybody thinks that Dolly Parton is sleeping with Frank.
Because Frank is telling them that basically, like making it kind of clear.
So for the first while, no one likes Dolly Parton, and then the truth kind of comes out, and the three women in this movie, Dolly Parton, Jane Fonda, and Lily Tomlin. I'm just going to use their actresses' names.
That's what I do too, because I can never remember character names.
Yeah, they all go out for a drink, and they're so I get it messed up. Basically, Lily Tomlin gets refused a promotion that really should have been hers, but Frank gave it to a man.
But just to be clear, right before that happens, when Lily Tomlin's character is still trying to be the goody two-shoes around Frank because she's thinking that she will get the promotion, there's a scene that becomes later important where she installs a garage door. She's got 4 kids, and she's a single woman, and it's sort of implied that she's lesbian, I think. I think that's just because
What made you think that?
I think it's just because I'm pretty sure Lily Tomlin is, but maybe she's
Okay.
not, I don't even know. But I'm not sure. I
also read some being into hardware. Was that what?
No, I've read reviews of this movie, and a lot of them are a lot of them talk about how like this is the lesbian Lily Tomlin we deserve, like in like a very like yay. So that's I think where I got it more than anything else. I don't actually.
Boy.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but one of her sons straight up is like, you need to relax, and just tries to give her weed.
Gives her a blunt.
Number one, I'm just gonna state how much I love this though. He's like, can I roll you a joint? He's like, not can I just like, can I get you one? Like, I'm gonna personally just roll you one.
He's like Snoop Dogg's personal joint roller, except for his mom. And the only complaint she has, like, she's totally chill with it, except don't let grandma see, because grandma would get upset. And so she just says, stick it in my purse, which I think is a terrific line, just all on its own. Just like after her son convinces her to get the weed. So then they go to the bar.
Me and my friends went to Vegas at one point, and they're from California, and we were in Nevada, so it was legal. So my one friend had a bunch of weed on him. And before we went out any day, he would like, you guys seen those little weed grinder things? You don't have to answer that.
I live in Utah.
You don't have to answer that.
21, so
anyway, it's like an Iron Maiden, but for weed. And he's like, hold on, before I leave, I got to do my meal prep. And he just rolls himself 4 joints.
All right. Well, I'm pretty
Happy
sure
for you?
drug talk is also not supposedly okay on Twitter. So.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I have no idea. None of us have read the code of etiquette that we agreed to.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wait, we have to read that?
Yeah. Also, we missed one of the best lines, I think, in the whole movie, which is when Dolly Parton is going off against Frank. When she says like how she's put up with his sexual harassment, but she's done. There's no more of that's going to happen.
Well, that's how she got to the bar.
Yeah, but before that they go to the bar, she has a line in that rant where she says she's going to take her gun and in one shot change you from a rooster to a hen. And it is beautiful. Just Dolly Parton has this energy to her that is incredible.
Well, and then her accent too.
Dancing.
That scene is one of the scenes I slowed it back down to normal speed to watch because it's so.
Remember, okay, you know what I love though? That Dolly plays, or Dora Lee is a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you think about this, she's a married woman, and she's like. Also, I don't like her husband. I thought he was ugly.
Well,
her husband shows up for like 30 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, her husband. Okay, you guys complained that I had a problem with the pilots with Dean Martin's wife in Airport. This guy has way less time to show his personality than she did.
I'm saying I didn't have a problem with it. To be fair, all Elizabeth said was that he's ugly. So
that's true.
That's subjective.
To be fair,
she said, "I don't like him." He is ugly.
He's ugly. To be fair, that's sort of how she judges the movies. So.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
It's very subjective. Like, I didn't feel like it. 2 thumbs down.
Who needs to watch the movie when you can just look at the headshots of the actors? And if they're pretty, it's a good movie, right?
It's true. It's why I haven't gotten many parts.
Number 1, I watched Charlie Brown. I think all of them are ugly except Lucy.
And that's why you like Lucy.
Lucy has the ugliest personality. Lucy's like a bad human being.
I
not
tuned
Lucy?
out for a second looking at facts, and I came back.
Lucy's
Are you
a bad
guys-
human being.
Are you guys talking about Charlie Brown?
Yeah. This is getting
It'll
way
make
too self-referential. Moving forward,
It'll make more sense when you listen to this episode back. Trust us.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway,
maybe.
Dora Lee's husband actually is really nice though. He was like, "Oh, like let me cheer you up."
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
And you still don't like him.
He's fine.
You
He's
literally
fine.
just said you didn't like him.
We're
Anyway,
I like
spending
him.
so much time on a scene that like doesn't
It
matter,
doesn't matter
at all.
all. Okay, so they're at the bar.
Okay.
And they're like, let's get high. And her only problem with one of them being really loud about that is that they don't have enough for everyone in the bar, which is another just
Yeah.
delightful moment.
And so they go
I will
back to
also say,
Dorley's house.
Jane Fonda wears those glasses in the first part of the movie and just apparently gets like eye surgery about
Yeah.
halfway
She just doesn't need
Because
them
I
anymore.
didn't realize
on,
that.
like twice later, but pretty much never again. Like
Yeah.
these really ugly, very like bottle cap glasses that are
You
just
Take
There's
that
80s
back.
glasses.
The style in this movie is impeccable. Like,
yeah, except for the glasses, which is why they disappear.
They go to the store and like one guy's carrying a mannequin that just has like an entire like rainbow shirt on with sunglasses. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
there's some great fashion.
So they go to Dorley's house because her husband was out of town.
So they can hotbox in there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so they're laughing their head
They're in,
off.
like, a
They're like,
giant
all of them
room.
were saying at the bar, they're like, that doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. And now they're just like laughing their heads off. And then they start talking about Miss Hart and like how he's like literally an asshole. And
Yeah, I
then
mean-
they start like fantasizing in their own ways, like how they would kill him.
Each of them fantasize about how they're going to kill him, and also, I'm fairly sure the actors. I was looking very closely at the scene. I was trying to figure out if the actresses were actually high or not, and I think that there is a shot where Jane Fonda had red eye, and so I am pretty sure, especially considering it was like this late 70s when this was filmed, and they were all like known, like I mean for sure. Dolly Tomlin was on all kinds of drugs. I'm laughing. Like I'm fairly sure they were all actually high on set.
So
feel
That
like
would be
I
great in method
In my
acting.
facts, I feel like I would have seen something about
Well,
that.
not if no one ever admitted to it. If they're all like, "What are you talking about? We were
Yeah.
so like."
Would you want that to be on IMDb and Aki for everyone to see?
Also, by the way, IMDb does not verify their facts, so we actually really have no way of knowing most of the
I'm
facts.
not
that
on
they have.
IMDb, but I am not. But I'm not necessarily using like verified sources. I'll admit.
You're not a
Whoa!
Not
fact. I thought you were the fact
We
queen.
want them to be MLA cited with Chicago as a backup.
Listen, I'm not
edition, 1.5.
purposely going to like 9to5blog.com, but I'm just
I feel like 9to5blog.com would have a pretty good amount of information. If
yeah.
Is there a 9 to 5 wiki?
They're all fantasizing. Jane Fonda has this like hunt. I don't know.
human hunt thing.
So
Human hunt
Where
thing
it's like
in the
there's literally a
office.
literal duck in a shooting gallery scene that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Because he's got a bucket over his head and he's just running and
Running
she
back
shoots and he turns around and running and he shoots and it's
Mhm.
incredible.
And then, okay, ready? Okay, and then Dolly. So she
Mm-hmm.
rides up on this horse in this Western thing because she's like, I just want him to get a taste of his own medicine.
Mhm.
And they basically reenact the scene of where she called him, like, what was that thing called again? She, like, basically told him off.
Well, they reenact the scene where he sexually is like harasses her. He tells her to turn around, where he makes her pick up things from the floor while like bending over.
Mhm.
They reenact that, except she's making him do that.
I just love seeing it from the woman's perspective of like what if like a woman did that to a man. I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
Then she hog ties him and roasts him over a spit,
yeah.
which is very entertaining.
and then we
and
get to Lily Tomlin's,
Mhm.
which I loved her. She's like, I just want a little bit like a magical, but like a death, like a magical
Yeah.
death. And I was like, and so they did like
Very
a
Disney, Snow White.
Snow
very-
White, yeah.
Yeah,
And, like, the
she
animated
poisons his
characters
coffee.
everywhere.
By the way, those seemed like the actual licensed versions of those animals.
No, they weren't.
They weren't?
So basically,
It's been a while since I've seen those.
with Lily Tomlin's thing, she's like a princess in a Disney movie,
Mhm.
including the woodland creatures that sing with her and help her do her chores. Because in real life, Frank is always getting Lily Tomlin to grab his coffee. And so in this fantasy, she's grabbing his coffee, but she puts like a magical poison in it. And so like in a very fairy tale-esque way, Snow White, is poisoning Frank. And that's her fantasy.
And then she kicks him out the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good little aspect
I
of
also
it, too.
say that the animal, like animated and real life interactions were really good, because like Roger Rabbit was famed for it kind of pioneering that. This is decades before. And they nail it. They have an animated bird flying a real spoon across the room so Lily Tomlin can stir the coffee up. Like it's really good. It's very, very solid.
I really liked all three of these like dream sequences, and I liked how they kind of fit the characters and their personal experiences. And obviously the iconic line that ties them all together, because Frank, you're a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. And I really liked it. They all say that to him at one point.
So the ironic thing that ends up happening is their fantasies end up kind of coming true.
Tomlin's does.
Frank,
Oh no, I guess
they all do, okay. Because basically in a mix-up, Lily Tomlin accidentally puts, instead of Sweet and Low or whatever they call it, she puts in rat poison because it's in a very similar box. So
like apparently incredibly similar.
It's identical.
Yes.
If I was the rat poison company, I would sue Sweet and Low over that, because it was just
excuse me, it's slim and
something
or something like that. It's like it's clearly Sweet and Low, but it's not.
Exactly. Sweet and Low wouldn't pay them for the product placement, so they had to have something else. So what happens is that Frank, his chair keeps breaking, or his chair is broken. It keeps like glitching out, and so he hits his head on the floor when he falls out of his chair. Well, they think that he drunk the coffee that Lily Tomlin gave him that
had the rat poisoning.
That had the rat poison in it. Exactly. So he goes to the hospital, and they're freaking out because she thinks she's killed somebody. Like legit. And there's a mix-up of events, and Frank actually leaves the hospital, but they see a dead guy in the room and think that is Frank. So they think they're murderers at this point.
Because I will say they were in the same room. It was like the second bed, and there's a police officer there saying, "We think it's poison. We're going to do an autopsy to figure it out."
Yeah, for the other guy.
So Lily Tomlin, like Dorley and Judy leave, and like Violet is sitting there, and she's like, "I don't want to go to jail."
Yeah, and she sees the dead body, which is just alone in the hallway,
and she takes his coat. Where'd she get the coat from?
She sneaks into a supply closet because she's trying to hide, and then she's like, "Ooh, there's a doctor's coat," and grabs it.
So she takes his doctor's coat and is rolling this dead body around the hospital. And eventually puts him in her trunk in her car.
Yeah, because they don't want the autopsy to show that it's the rat poison, so that she steals the body.
Spoiler crossing. We're now going to start talking about things that happen towards the end of the movie. If you'd like to avoid this, you can jump to 49.5 minutes.
Basically what happens from this point on is things just escalate.
This is when I fell asleep.
Yeah, and this is the best part.
It's absolutely the best part.
I will say, the second she stole the body, I was like it just like it felt like so. It was like really funny. I don't think it felt like
it wasn't. It didn't feel like a crime. It just
but I was just like, are you kidding? Like, because the whole first part of the movie is kind of tame, and it's just them kind of being like, "Oh, Frank's the worst." But now it's like they think they murdered him, and they're trying to cover up the evidence.
Yes.
I don't know.
So the only reason that they find out they took the wrong body is because Dorley drives like a mad woman and crashes the car, and they bend the fender so it's touching the tire. So they go into the trunk to find a tire iron to fix it, and accidentally uncover the sheet, and it's revealed that that's not the right body.
And they're like, "We gotta return the body," and they're like, "We can't go back to the hospital."
Yeah, so they go back to the hospital anyway, and they don't find Frank because Frank has walked away. He's fine, and he's
literally
ready
gone.
to go back to work.
He calls the doctors a racket, by the way, which is kind of funny in and of itself. He's like, "I know how you guys work."
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, I swallowed rat poison, but it's fine because."
Well, he doesn't know he did.
Well, no,
at that point
he did it.
I thought No, because he fell back in his chair, spilled the coffee, and bumped his head. So he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah,
actually,
but he didn't drink the poison.
He didn't drink the poison.
And at that
Right.
point, he didn't know, but they wanted to take him in for an X-ray for whatever reason.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want to pay that money.
I know how you guys
I know
work.
how you
You're just
work."
trying to rope me into hospital bills.
Right.
And-
Should be-
Which wouldn't happen if we had a national health care service.
Oh boy. All right.
Anyways,
Our Daily Dose of We Can't Stay Out of Politics featuring Jonathan Ibanez.
And then they make it back to the hospital, and they don't really show how they just get the body back in, but Dolly's just like, yeah, I took care of it, don't worry. And then they just show the body sitting in a bathroom, I assume, just
Covered by a sheet in a wheelchair.
yeah, and this
And then
poor
when
maid
the
comes in. Or
when the janitor comes in, she literally looks at the body and then leaves, walks out the door, looks down the hall to another janitor, and just goes, "There's another stiff in the bathroom."
Yeah. So that works out for them.
Yeah, this movie is legitimately funny. Like, there's a
Oh,
lot of
it's
good
great.
deliveries, a lot of good lines, and
I
a great
enjoy
mix
He's
of
right. See?
great
Told
mix
you
of
guys.
like situational humor and then verbal humor as well. They just
Yeah.
hit
But
it
And
on
then,
the
like,
map.
a good balance of slapstick. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like sometimes with slapstick in movies, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
like when she first realizes that the robe she grabbed is actually a doctor's robe, and she's talking to one of the RNs.
Yeah.
As soon as the RN says that the doctor, like, "Oh, you're a doctor," she goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm a doctor. So why the hell am I talking to you? Piss off!" And just
Yeah.
starts running down the hall.
Yeah.
And I just keep wanting to point out great lines because there's so many of them. When
Mhm.
they're talking about putting concrete blocks on the body to sink it in the river when they still think it's Frank, they're like, "That'll never work. They always find the body." And Tomlin's character just says, "They never found Jimmy Hoffa," and just casually move past that. Very real, very dark monster murder.
I didn't catch that. I must have missed it while I
Yeah,
was
I missed
reading
that.
through.
Yeah, it might have been
Yeah.
after you fell asleep, Elizabeth.
No, it was I watched that part.
So
But they figure it out. But apparently Roz, who's like his assistant, Frank's assistant.
she's always kissing Frank's butt.
She's
Basically,
the Dwight Schrute of this movie.
Yeah.
that's the way to describe it. Yep.
Yeah.
If we're gonna
I'm
be,
the assistant manager. You mean the
Yeah.
assistant to the
To
regional
the
manager?
regional
No.
manager.
Yeah. But Roz was like in the bathroom or something when they were talking about their whole murder hide the body scheme.
because they're trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, because when he comes into work on Monday, they realize, once and for all, he's not dead. They're trying to figure things out. So Roz overhears the whole thing that they think that there was rat poison in the coffee and they thought they killed him and all that jazz. So
Mhm.
Roz
And
tells
she's
Frank.
like, she's writing it all down on toilet paper.
Yes, which is great. Another
Yeah.
great visual gag in this movie.
Uh-huh.
And so Frank ends up finding out about it, and he's mad, and he's like, "I'm going to sue you. I'm going to charge you with attempted murder. I'm going to call the police."
But then
And
they
so
kidnap him.
Kidnap him.
Yes, this is a classic movie where it's just like things escalate. And what I'm going to compare it to is, has anyone seen the show You?
I've not.
No, but
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
heard of it.
I've been
It's
told that I kind of look like the main guy,
You do.
and it's not
You
a
do.
compliment.
A little bit. You see,
Here's the
cut
thing.
your hair a
the
little
main
bit.
guy's hot.
He
Oh.
has
No, he's
he has
not.
fantastic hair. You have to it's like just the right amount of curly. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I'm pretty sure that
But-
it's just my hair. I've never seen the guy.
Oh, well, it might be.
Am I
Anyway,
thinking of the right guy?
yes, you are.
I think you are.
Okay.
It's the guy who looks like this. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight
Wow.
face.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, in that show, like in this movie, things just kind of escalate and things get worse because they're constantly trying to cover up what they did before, which was much less worse than what they're
Mhm.
currently doing.
Yeah. Well, basically, so Frank is just a grade A creep, right? And so he's like, Dolly, I won't call the cops if you just come over real quick.
Yeah,
And
he
she's
basically
like,
offers,
Yeah.
like, if you sleep with me, this will all be fine.
Yeah. And she's like, bruh, I ain't gonna do that.
Because she's married.
Yeah, she's married and it's gross.
And
not
like,
even-
it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
She could be as single as any of us are, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
But he's
but
married, and she like.
Yeah. Oh, but his wife is like chill with everything.
But she
Like,
doesn't
his
know
wife is-
about
his
it.
wife is just like blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, and
She
just,
went on a cruise.
she just
Yeah,
goes on
2-month
cruises and
cruise.
ignores life, and she even finds out about something we're going to talk about soon, and still is just like,
She just listens to everything Frank, like all the BS he
it's
gives
incredible.
But he has money. That's why.
I don't.
It's called the gold
her.
digger.
No,
I don't
nah.
think
I
she's a
think
gold
it's
digger.
just
No, because
Isn't she have money? Didn't they say like actually like she's holding on to him, like, or he's holding on to her or something like that? I feel like
I
they
think
Oh,
I think the
yeah.
idea of her character is like the only woman that could possibly deal with him, and
is
like
one that
not
isn't really in reality.
is one that just like completely lets everything go over her head.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Dolly gets to tie him up with the phone cord like she did in her fantasy, and then she goes and gets Lily and Jane, their actors' names, and she's like, guys, I have them tied up, like just watch him for a sec. And then like he manages to talk Jane
Fonda into loosening his like ropes.
and he's like, I promise I won't do anything. And then he gets loose, and obviously he goes to try and call the cops.
So she shoots at it.
Yeah, so she gets the gun from Dolly's purse and like, bam, bam, like in her fantasy.
Yeah, hunts him for sport.
Yeah, obviously doesn't actually shoot him, but shoots like at the window.
Yeah,
and then
she's not a good shot.
which they never talk about what happens when everyone comes in the next day and sees a broken
Yeah.
window.
No, you see someone
That's never
fixing
brought up.
it.
Really?
You see someone fixing it. Yeah, there's a scene the next time when they have him kidnapped and they are acting like he's still in the office. They successfully manage to, like, they call a repair guy in and they just say like, oh, it broke. You don't see them call the repair guy or anything, but you see a repair guy fixing the window in the background.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
So basically, oh, go ahead.
Well, you can go ahead from there.
So they take him. They basically do kidnap him, and they go to his house, and they end up going like a sports
cruise.
Yeah, they end up going to a store and finding all of the pieces necessary to like build a automatic garage door thing in his bedroom.
The garage door opener was just basically they used the garage door opener that Lily Tomlin was shown installing earlier in the movie because that's how she knows how to use it and how to build it. And so it's sort of a callback to that. And then it's like hang glider stuff, scuba gear, and dog collars that they combine with chain to make this like sort of like a squirrel suit kind of thing that attaches to the garage door opener so that he's like kind of comfortable, but looks completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the most ridiculous way they could have kidnapped him, really.
So they're worried because they have to find something on him, but they do. They find this dossier that has a warehouse that's empty. That clearly means that he was embezzling, and they call the main company and they're like, hey, could you send us the files on this? But what they realize is that the main company is going through a computer management like update, and it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. So they have to fake that he's not there for 4 to 6 weeks. And they tell him like, you need to sign this document saying that you're not going to charge us and that you admit to the embezzlement, and we won't release the document as long as you don't, charge us for murder.
Yeah.
And then someone want to take over from there.
And like the whole company basically doesn't really care that he's missing because they hate him so much that they don't really like question anything. Except for Roz. Yeah.
Who
I don't understand.
They send her to a foreign language company or a foreign language like intensive in France saying that like, oh, the company's going to be opening European, keep it top secret, but we need you to learn French. And they're like, will she really fall for that? And one of them says, if Hart asked her to. And then right when she's about to finish that sentence, it just smash cuts to a plane taking off. Which I thought was another great piece of editing. This movie really got very tightly edited.
Oh, it was, yeah. So yeah, we go by those 4 weeks pretty good. And there's little hiccups that happen here and there, but nothing super important to the overall plot.
Her ex-husband, Jane Fonda's ex-husband shows up.
Whose name is Dick.
Whose name is Dick.
Also, like during those 6 weeks that he's tied up and everything's under control, they make changes to the
They had a
company.
daycare program,
Yeah.
part-time labor. Everyone has equal wages.
Mm-hmm.
All that
And
kind of
just all this kind of stuff to
And
improve.
everybody's happy, by the way.
Yeah,
Everyone's
they add
happy.
plants to the workspace. Like
Yeah.
it's like a very friendly workplace that everyone
Mhm.
really enjoys. So what you learn though is the wife calls and says, "Hey, I got home early, and I just wanted to thank you for sending the flowers because I know that was really you," to
Mhm.
Dolly Parton's character. And when that happens, they realize that Frank's actually been loose because
For 3 days.
he found a nail file, and he said, and Dolly Parton says, "You saw Frank?" And he said, "Yeah, you should see what his wife says, "You should see what he's up to at the house. Like he's apparently doing some kind of crazy new exercise program because he's still wearing the chains and the jumpsuit and everything."
Yeah.
And he fully just believes that, which honestly
Mhm.
is maybe the least believable thing in the whole movie.
Wow.
She's just so happily oblivious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I kind of am envious, if we're being honest.
But basically, he's just been faking being chained
Tied
up
up
this whole
in
time so
order
that
to
he can,
fill up the warehouse.
and work on covering his embezzlement. So when they finally realize, like, oh, he's free and he's cleaned everything up, he basically
escapes at gunpoint.
he escapes and he's
Brings
like,
them with him.
and he's like, y'all, I'm calling the cops. It's over. Because you don't have anything to hold me against.
Yeah.
And then enter in, what's his name?
Russell.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Russell Tinsworthy.
Tinsworthy.
The
who's
chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board.
And his entrance was so
It's so funny.
it's so good.
What? No, I missed that.
It's just this old white Southern man just with this like cane and this white suit and this hat, and he's just strutting in with an army of executives following him like stormtroopers at his back, and everyone's parting, and there's people calling and saying like, "Oh, you have to tell our boss," and everyone's panicking and running around.
And Frank, he thinks that like something, obviously, like because of how bad the company's been run this past 6 weeks.
Because he sees all the changes they made as they're going through the office, and he's aghast.
And
because
he's
why
like,
do we want happy workers?
Happy workers, they need to.
And
They
by
need
the
to be
way,
more sad.
Margaret, who's the alcoholic, basically, that says "atta girl" when they're going to the bar. They show that like she's recovered from,
because they had an Alcoholics Anonymous program.
So it's just like obviously everything was done good, but Frank's
and the
really
woman that was
worried.
fired for talking about her salary is back, and she's now working part-time because she has to take care of her kids.
And they allow that now. They allow part-time work.
Yeah, they allow part-time work. They allow job sharing.
Yeah, so they're worried. They go to see Tinsworthy, and he's basically like, wow, to have a company have improved efficiency by 20% in 6 weeks is crazy, and I have to reward you for it. And they like offer him a job in Brazil.
And basically they're like, "You did incredible, it'll come with a big pay raise, and you can't say no. I don't take no for an answer."
Well, he tries to say no, and then Tinsworthy slowly stops being charming Southern man and starts being like Lotso hugging bears from Toy Story 3, where he's like, he turns into the evil Southern plantation owner, you know?
Really, it's very apt. As it is good.
Yeah. So they send him to Brazil, and they give Lily Tomlin the promotion. She takes over Frank's job. And
they have to get rid of the equal pay, but besides that, it's all good.
That's a great part. He says, "I love all the changes you do, except the equal pay part. We can't do that." Let's be
real. Then Frank's just like, "Of course," just real casually, like, "Yeah, equal pay. That's stupid."
So I mean, it's okay that we're giving better work options to our workers, but if you're paying the women the same amount, no, that's not going to fly. That's where he draws the line.
All right, and so everything's fine. They take over. They're all chilling out. Probably smoking weed every weekend.
Can I be real? Like how much I loved just the sense of feminism in this movie. I'm sorry, I'm a feminist. I really don't care.
Are you?
You don't have to apologize for that.
Yeah,
I really don't care what people think about it because I'm just like, I'm a feminist. But because it's true. Like my sister said to me last night, she's like, a lot of these problems in this 1980s movie are still relevant 40 years later.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I
I'm
think
just
that's why
like,
it holds up so well.
and I was like, oh yeah, because equal pay, still not really it's getting better, but it's still like not a thing. You know,
Yeah.
women being sexually harassed in the workplace, still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's changed in the last 40 years, and that's why I love this movie so much, because
Yeah.
it really like brings a light to like an issue that still is relevant.
I think you'd really love it if you saw the whole thing.
I feel good where I stopped.
I'm just saying, you should, just like as a matter of personal vindication, you should go back and watch the.
I will rewatch it. Number one, I really
great.
can't.
It's like actually
I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
rewatch it normal speed.
And Naki, we should watch it together when we're together
Okay.
again.
Okay,
So,
we'll
like,
watch it when we're together.
once.
I mean, also going along with that theme, not only is like the plot and everything very feminist forward, but like the whole movie was Jane Fonda's like idea.
Really?
And, yeah, and she's the one who like started production on it and like was really at the forefront of everything that has to do with the movie. So it's just really cool to
That's awesome.
know that like a woman is responsible for it. And obviously I think the director is a male, but like I saw this interview snippet where like he and the three leads, like they all really work together on the whole thing. And
Awesome.
That's awesome.
yeah, I just think it's really cool.
Yay, allies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
Alright,
will
so
say I would prefer that this movie not stay relevant and that we fix the problems.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I'll
obviously.
I'll take a good movie as a consolation prize, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, consolation prize for decades of sexual harassment.
Also, this
mhm.
movie, Fonda originally wanted it to be a drama, but when they were kind of like working on it, she was like, it just feels too preachy.
Mhm.
And so
yeah, I
that's why
can't
they
see this.
switched
I
it.
can't see this working as a drama.
Yeah,
honestly.
because it's like, I think, and this could be applicable for any issue, not just feminism, but I think when you're kind of like beat over the head with a moral, and it's like, yeah, if it's gets too preachy, then I think you lose like the main purpose of it. So
I definitely think approaching it from comedy was the right move.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
well,
I
comedy.
think it just helps.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
then-
it also touches tangentially on a lot of other issues, right? Because like there's the one lady who really, she she needed to work, but she didn't want to work full time, right? Because she was
Mhm.
taking care of her kids. So you even have kind of
You
the
have women
angle of
entering
that
Jane
and
Fonda's
accommodating people's lifestyles they've chosen, So
Mm-hmm.
that
And
was a
Jane
good
Fonda's entire
addition.
character is her having to work because her husband leaves her, or
Mhm.
cheats on her, and she leaves him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it absolutely has a lot of more modern takes than a lot of movies at the time did, and I think that's
Yeah.
incredible.
More nuanced.
So we're definitely getting into our review. Do we want to just sort of officially?
Yeah, officially rate it.
Yeah,
Hi.
I'm thinking.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right. It's the
Such
most
a
positive
high
review
review.
yet.
Good. Wow,
Yeah.
this is our highest review
Right.
yet. We have
Yeah.
7 thumbs up.
I am
Wow.
very
one no
glad.
thumb.
I'm very glad that Jonathan gave a no thumb. I was very tempted to, because the first part of this movie is so cliched and predictable. And I get that it's because they're trying to build up to the like way it goes off the rails later.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so bored. I thought the Xerox scene I thought was funny. I thought the whole thing of her like not answering the phone correctly and they're like dropping the cards off the Rolodeck,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff was just overplayed. I thought it was more sad than amusing. I would have liked the boss to have more, like 3D
Nuance.
personality. Yeah, just not even more nuance, any nuance at all. I wanted him to have a single other character feat besides being a bigot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the chemistry between the leads is so good.
100%.
So many great lines in this movie. It's so well done. When it starts to go off the rails, the pacing gets really tight. There's a lot of really clever editing, a lot of really cool ahead of its time things like that animation interacting with real life. And so I gave it 2 thumbs up because I just really, really enjoyed myself in the end. But I would have given it like a thumb and a half if we could, like a thumb and a pinky. Would have been my rating. So I'm glad it didn't get a perfect 8, but I stick with my 2 thumbs up.
Can I just state that I chose this movie just again, that I got the highest rating as the producer, not even
I
like a
liked
host.
it. It was good. Good
I wanna
job.
just
Yeah,
state that.
I
Okay.
feel like Elizabeth, like, I know you're picking. The thing is, we're trying to pick movies that are like iconic, and you're just like, I really like this song. But I'm glad it resulted.
Hey, it works. It
But
works.
how many people like know the song but don't know this is a movie?
I was one
I
of
knew
those
it.
people.
I knew if it was a movie. I'd never seen the movie.
See?
And this movie turned into a show and a musical and spawned off this whole 9 to 5 empire.
I don't think I could watch anymore. I feel like I'm done.
Oh, I could.
Like,
I
after
could
this
happily.
movie.
I want to watch the Broadway version now. It's
Can
not
I just
on
say
anymore.
though,
but I
like
want to.
because remember we're trying to do movies that aren't like so well known, like The Empire Strikes Back. So that's 1980s as well. I didn't choose that. I chose this.
It was a good choice.
Good
Good job.
You're welcome, fans.
So, Michael, was that your summary of why
That's
you
my
gave
summary
it?
of my rating,
Okay.
And Michael, what do you think the
Jonathan.
moral of the story is?
No. The moral of the story is that you can get away with it as long as you have a penis.
Jonathan,
Okay.
why'd you give it a no thumb?
So I gave it a no thumb because, I mean, obviously, I think women are inferior. So any movie about that. No,
I'm not in the screenshot when this happens. When we get
You
wanna
reported.
talk about it? I will go
This
back
was-
to Utah.
One
This
day,
was a
if we
good-
ever get famous, they'll like cut back to this clip in a.
Oh,
It's gonna
in
be
an
like it's
article.
inspired from Guardians of the Galaxy 9.
Yeah.
exactly. Yo, I mean, I get to be in volume 8.
Okay, let's let
Um,
him explain himself.
Yeah, explain why you
So-
think women.
No, he doesn't think that. I'm kidding. And if he does, don't explain it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be involved.
So, I mean, this is a good movie. I mean, the laughs hit, the plot is interesting. Like, there were times where I knew where it was going, but it deviated just enough that, like, it fulfilled the pattern I already had in my mind, but also did something that I wasn't expecting. So it was all good. If I had to, I mean, the reason I didn't give it a 2 thumbs up is I think similar to Michael, I thought a lot of the characters were sort of one-dimensional and it didn't feel very, like, it didn't like make me go, wow, like this is amazing, you know? So
I feel
I'm
like you're right,
reserving the
though.
2 thumbs for that.
I feel like you're right. There wasn't a lot of like character arc. Like I just didn't feel like they grew as very much. Like they did, like some characters did, but not all of them. Like not a lot of them did.
Interesting.
Because like
Can we add pinkies as half ratings?
no,
Because I think the more convoluted it gets, the funnier it is. I'm changing my rating to a thumbs up and a pinky.
A thumb and a pinky. Okay, that sounds good. So now we have 3 fingers.
Yeah, because you can do a middle finger as an optional
Middle
rating.
finger.
But the middle finger is good. The middle finger is like
Well,
really,
it can be-
no, only
it's
for
like-
Catch 22.
The middle finger is like an exclamation mark.
That's true. It's whatever
That's
rating
all
your
I'm
other
saying.
finger is, plus a middle finger doubles your rating. So like if
Well,
you have a
I-
thumbs down and a middle finger, then it's 3 thumbs down.
No, but if here's the thing is that if I had, I feel like I could have a thumbs up and a middle finger if I liked it, but I also made me angry watching it.
Okay.
Like I feel like
Fair enough.
that would.
Fair enough.
Wait, I
So
thought
I-
the middle finger was just for Usarian and Catch 22.
Well, that's what it was
no,
there,
no,
but
it
maybe
is.
it comes
No,
back.
no,
We'll see.
No, it's
We'll see.
not.
We'll-
I think
we'll
it
see
can
when
be
comes
used in
back.
the future. I'm gonna give it
One
a
of
thumbs
these
up and a
days we're
pinky.
gonna watch. One of these days we're
We'll
gonna watch a
add
movie that
pinky.
gets us so mad that we will middle finger it. I'm sure.
It's gonna be 8 middle fingers.
And I think the moral of the story
Catch 23.
is if you shoot your boss, it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah.
No.
it.
Okay. So I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm a little confused with our rating system now.
That's the point.
But it might have helped that I was watching it in 2 times speed in terms of like pacing with the first part. But I just I really enjoyed like all the aspects of the movie and like all the little scenes. Like I am super critical of comedy films, but for some reason this one, like I couldn't really find
Wow.
like a joke or anything that I was like, ugh. Like I felt
guess. Never
What?
mind. I was gonna say, are you critical of them like for the jokes or for the like arc? I guess I'd ask.
like, I don't know. I guess like there's just it's hard to explain really in this context, but I guess like, oh my god, I don't want to say anything that'll make people hate me.
There's
Jonathan
just
already said he thought women were inferior, so I'm pretty sure they're fine.
there's just
I don't
there's-
watch any of the movies.
okay, there's just movies that are like considered like comedy classics that I don't hate, but I'm always a little bit like,
You're
I don't
talking
know.
like Caddyshack and Meatballs kind of stuff.
I guess so. I mean, like Ace Ventura.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm a little bit
So it's
like,
like a style of humor because Ace
yeah,
Ventura has some jokes that are like funniest when you're 12.
yeah. I guess that's why. So that's all I mean. Like, it's not that I don't respect them, but it's just like sometimes I get kind of sick of certain kinds of humor, I guess you could say. But
Mhm.
in this movie, I just felt like it was a good balance. And I personally thought like the three main characters, I loved their dynamic and their stories so much. And like, it might help that I'm a girl, but it's just like so refreshing to see just like cool female characters, and their purpose isn't necessarily just to like be like feminist, I guess. Like they're just women that are trying to make it work, you know? And I thought the entire plot for me, once it got to like the body snatching section, like that came totally out of left end, and like the whole kidnapping scheme and everything, like it just was not the movie that I was anticipating at all.
Mhm.
And it just ended up being a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And so I really enjoyed it, and I liked it. And I agree with some of like the criticisms you guys pointed out. I didn't hate those aspects so much that I felt like I didn't want to give it 2 thumbs up.
That's fair. I mean, it's why I gave it originally too, is because like I'm very tempted
Yeah.
not to criticize. That's why I was like, I gotta have a half, because
Yeah.
I can't just give it the same rating I
Yeah.
gave like Charlie Brown or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a better movie than that.
Yeah, and I guess like I also agree. I'm like, it didn't necessarily like wow me to the point where I was like, wow, this is such a good movie.
Mhm.
So I'm a little
It's not bad.
conflicted. Yeah, I'm a
It's
little
not
conflicted
bad.
because I don't want to give it like maximum rating.
Okay, you only
But-
have 2 thumbs.
You could do a thumb and a pinky if you
Should I
wanted.
do a thumb and a pinky? Yeah.
And that'll count as between.
I don't
us
want
three.
to. I don't want to cyberbully you and only giving it a thumb and a pinky.
No, it's not a
If you like
cyberbully.
it, if you want, you can keep. your 2
No,
thumbs.
because I was thinking this originally. I was originally like, do I want to give it like the highest rating I can possibly give
Yeah.
it? Shouldn't
Okay,
I?
so we have now a total of 6 thumbs.
Two.
I'm
Total.
also changing my
To
opinion
what?
to a thumb and a pinky.
All right, so we have
Two pinkies equal
5 and a
thumb?
half.
Because if I
yes,
think about it,
5 and a
right,
half
like a
thumbs.
movie that you absolutely love, you'd want to watch again immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't be opposed to
Yeah, I saw
rewatching
Airplane
it.
3 times the first time I saw it.
Literally, I haven't felt that way about most movies.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a super solid movie, but I wouldn't say it's like the best ever.
Okay, so we have so wait.
okay, put up your ratings again.
Yeah, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half thumbs total. All right.
Okay.
Or 5 thumbs and a pinky, I guess would be our additive total.
So
Should we like
That's a good rating.
normalize somehow? I'll
Absolutely
figure it
not.
out because some.
Absolutely not. I am
Okay.
all for this rating system getting worse. I
Michael.
don't want.
So it's entirely dependent on how many people review it.
It also, yeah, it is. It's true.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
yeah,
don't
it's
worry.
just
In our YouTube
everything
channel,
about it is
on our
broken.
YouTube channel, just comment below what your rating system for this movie is.
Yeah.
Please,
It's-
please.
What was that? I'm trying to remember. What was that channel that every time we would be like, I give this 3.5 A's out of a B3. Like there was some YouTube channel from the early 2000s.
Well,
I wanna say,
I
that did
know.
that with every
Have you
episode.
guys seen Conan's Clueless Gamer? bit?
Yes, that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was
Yeah, he
yeah.
does like crazy ratings. It's
Yeah,
like, if
I
green is good and yellow is bad, I
give
give
this a
this an
purple.
aquamarine. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
I think
1982, she
that's
released her
as-
first
about as
exercise
coherent as I
video,
want our
Jane
ratings.
Fonda's
That's an
Work,
ideal to
which
strive
became
for.
the highest
So,
selling VHS of all
The
time.
reason why
What?
I can't answer was because of the stated below.
Wait, is it still
Whatever
the best
before.
the best selling?
Above
It
is
says
me.
so. I don't know. It says
VHS.
the
I
highest
am
selling
above. There's
VHS
no one
of all
above me.
time.
I'm really curious if that has to do with like
Wow.
how good of an
take.
exercise it is, or
But
because
I
of like
was
how
saying that,
attractive
like,
Jane
I don't
Fonda
want to
is.
rewatch.
It's probably both.
Even though I probably
Wait,
hold on.
because I
I'm
have to.
reading innocuous.
We need to
Jane
do this
Fonda.
VHS.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's our next
So
premium
the only
episode.
the part that we
Us
watched.
reviewing Jane
Yeah,
Fonda.
us exercising
But,
with
like,
Jane
and then the other
Fonda.
thing is
Oh
for
my god!
those-
live episode where
I
we
will say
were
Dolly-
not
Be watching
alongside
the
Jane
Dolly.
Fonda.
This is her first
I'm
movie.
trying
Can
to
you
get
get it for us?
We always
Yeah.
want
Johnson
to
always
Yeah, and
has
she
Yeah.
was already like
VHSs.
famous as a singer, obviously.
That's
I have
true.
a
But
VHS player.
like for this being
I
her
think I have
first
my
I
acting
know,
own.
but Jonathan
role,
always
I-
gets us our
like,
VHSs.
to me,
I
she
wonder,
was
can
one
we
of my
find it?
favorite movies.
Yeah, I
Because
love
I'm
it.
sure we
I
can
love
find
it.
it.
She did such a
Yeah.
good
I'm sure
job.
also it's like
And then
okay,
also,
we're
this is
a
a
little
completely
off.
unrelated note. Who else, like, hey, this is completely unrelated note, but I just read this
so
internet
good.
piece
My
notes,
thumb
and
is
it said
for Lily Tomlin.
that 9 to 5
Yeah,
was
she's
a
awesome.
nominee.
Jonathan, you have a science fact of the day.
Here's my. Hold on. Let me come up with one real quick.
Yeah, and did that
Science
count as the
is-
cast and crew corner? I kind of talked about
I guess. I feel
We'll
like
count
random
it.
facts.
Oops, that was my bad. I just wanted to
Trey's
say
cast and
it.
crew
Third
corner.
corner. Did you know that the moon is actually black?
Yes.
There's no punchline there, but it's just white because it's reflecting the light of the sun.
I did not know that.
Wait,
thought-
like it's actually
I thought there was
black?
going to be a punchline.
Hmm No,
I thought we do fake facts on this.
I know, but I didn't
It's like
write one before
gray.
the episode, so
I thought it was gray.
I have a
No,
fun
it's
thing
black.
fact.
It's fully black.
I think so. Let me see.
I don't know if this is true.
Like,
Can I say my fun fact?
yeah.
The Earth has 3 moons, just by the way.
Are you serious?
Yes, the Earth, like if you look up, there's like the main moon, and then there's like 10 little moons surrounding it, but only 3 of them are technically considered our moons.
I straight
I
up
did
don't
not know that.
buy that.
Does the Earth
I think that's just.
have
I don't think that's
3
true.
moons?
I think Elizabeth's just making a joke.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fun fake fact.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, I don't.
Wait. I see an article by the National Geographic that says Earth has 2 extra hidden moons.
Oh God. All right, National Geographic or National Enquirer.
It's geographic.
All right. I don't.
Guess who's
I don't
right?
know.
This girl. Wait, who
I
has
don't.
2 thumbs?
But it does say moon.
Who has a thumb and a
in quotes.
pinky? Who has a thumb and a pinky? And
Wait,
Was
is the
right.
moon black though? I think I might have.
I
Just
don't
made
think this
something
is
up.
true. And I feel like
Well, like you could say anything is black without light, right? Like you wouldn't see it.
okay,
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
But
Like-
Mars is still red.
guys,
like,
the world is black. Like, if I cover my eyes, like that's not a thing. It's not
I
how
think
color works.
because
Also,
if it was
color
fully black, it would absorb
If
the
it,
light.
if it was completely black, it wouldn't work. Also, color theories.
So it's
like,
gray.
No, because it
Super
reflects the
complicated.
light, right?
no, if it's completely black,
It's
it absorbs.
not a
the light.
mirror.
The idea is that it has to be there has to be like another kind of
It has to be
It
like,
is?
it's like
Okay.
dark gray.
Here's
Okay.
how colors like kind of work. It gets way more complicated, but we're not getting into it too deep. Basically, the color we see is the color that is not absorbed. So when we see black, it means that all color was absorbed when light hit it.
I
So
see.
like green is because the green index, like the wavelengths of light that are green, don't get absorbed by the object and bounce back at our eyes.
Okay.
So if something were black, it means that there is no color to it. There isn't really a black color.
We're really dissecting. I mean, even if it's not true, I guess we could still
It's
use
dark
Jonathan's
gray
then.
fact.
The Earth is dark. I think the moon is gray. Like that's I think is true. But
Like
I
you made
it's not
Jonathan
black.
upset. Look at how
If it
angry
was
he
black,
looks.
No, I'm
it would
thinking.
not. If
He's
it was
mad.
black, it wouldn't reflect, and we wouldn't.
He's
be able
like, you ruined my joke, Michael. You ruined
According
my
to
fun
No, I'm not.
planetfacts.org,
We
detailed
can't trust
photographs
them.
show that it's a .org.
No, but it's planet. The moon's
Anyone
not a
can
planet.
register for a .org.
Detailed photographs show that moon is gray in color, which is true.
I was right. Remember how
I said that like
Ray.
10 minutes ago.
Right. No, you
I
didn't.
said that. Yes, I did. It is
Are you planetfacts.org though?
No.
Hey,
this
but
is
why
a
are we
recorded
trusting
episode.
planet facts if the moon's not even a planet?
That's true.
You ever think
It's
about that?
It's outside of their field of expertise.
Also, this sentence is not grammatically correct. So
Okay, just to be clear, it is on tape that I said that like 10 minutes ago, Elizabeth.
Maybe I won't listen to the episode and I will never know.
All right, well, that's not going to be a break from the norm. So,
Actually, I'm going to listen to this one because I'm actually on this one.
That was our review of 9 to 5. If you'd like some more late train fun, We are posting content multiple times a week on our website. You can find that in the show notes, the link to that. And check out what we're doing on there. We're posting written reviews, and you'll be the first to see them. If you'd like to reach out to us for any reason, you can go ahead and email us. That email is also in the show notes. And if you'd like to watch along with us next week, we will be watching Trog. That's Trog, movie from 1970. Once again, thank you for listening, and until next time.